Welcome to your 4 to 5. The autopsy results for Faye Swetlick, a 6-year-old found dead in South Carolina, is in.
Plus, crews have reopened Interstate 40 after a livestock truck overturned in Ramseur.
And we're talking about the possibility of snow on Thursday.
That's the big one. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Maddie Gardner here with Eric Chilton and Tahisha Moyes. Everybody talking about the snow.
It's a big topic, and we'll break that down for you in just a minute.
All right, in the meantime, let's get you all caught up with your headlines of the day with your 4 to 5 roundup. But what we are going to do is start with new details in the investigation of Faye Swetlick. The medical examiner determined that Faye suffocated to death. Now, she died shortly after she was abducted. Authorities don't know where she was from the time of death until she was found. In the meantime, Cody Taylor, a neighbor, was also found dead, but we were told that he had a roommate. But authorities believe Taylor is the only person connected to Faye's death. Now, Faye was reported missing last Monday after she disappeared from her front yard after school. Her body was later found Thursday in a wooded area near her home. Authorities say a piece of clothing found in a trash can led them to Faye's body. The medical examiner says Cody Taylor died from suicide.
Well, all eastbound lanes of Interstate 40 reopened after a crash early this morning. The truck was carrying cattle and several cows died. WFMY News 2's Aduri Achumba is following this story for us. Aduri, I'm sure drivers are relieved those lanes are reopened for rush hour.
The Highway Patrol reopened I-40 East here at exit 195 just around 2:15 this afternoon. The crash involved a truck carrying 41 cows. Now, crews spent hours cleaning up the mess, but of course, it made for a messy commute for drivers. Now, crews had to pull out the surviving cows, but unfortunately, there were about 20 cows that died as a result of the crash. Now, the Highway Patrol says the truck was carrying livestock to a slaughterhouse in Asheboro. They say just before 4 this morning, the truck flipped over, killing several of the cattle. We spoke to the man driving the truck, and here's what he says happened.
There was about 6 deers. I say 3 mamas and 3 babies jumped the concrete barrier, and I swerved to miss them. And the leanness of the road, cattle just got off of balance, and I overcorrected, and it just flipped over and had a wreck.
Now the crash shut down I-40 East for much of the day as emergency management crews worked to clear the animals and the tractor trailer from the scene. The driver said it was a scary situation, but he only came out with some bumps and scratch on his forehead. Now, Highway Patrol did charge him with failure to maintain a lane. Now, investigators tell me that the dead animals will be disposed of in a landfill while the surviving cows were taken to a vet to be checked out, after which they will be handed back to the packing house to continue onward on their journey.
All right, thank you, Aduri. We need our umbrellas again, don't we? We're talking about rain, unfortunately. I know everybody's skipping ahead to Thursday, though. We'll get to that in a minute. Look for showers to develop as we head into the night tonight. 46 will be the overnight low, and we kind of hover in that 46 to about 50-degree range between tonight and really most of the day tomorrow. Notice winds about 10 to 15, so a little bit breezy. Some of the showers tomorrow, mostly in the morning hours. You can see that starting to overspread the area a little bit from southwest to northeast. More of the heavier rains reside down south and west as well. And as we watch all of this progress over the next couple of days, we're waiting to see if that cold air catches up with all of this. On Thursday, you notice that secondary low will start to move up the coast, a little bit of a coastal low there, throwing the moisture back our way. Some of the models are keeping this south of us, and south and east, I should say. That remains to be seen. But that overnight low tonight with 46 degrees. As we head throughout Thursday, we will say for now that we have a chance of snow, although we think a lot of that will be south of the area, but something that we'll watch. A little too early to make the call. Sunshine 42 Friday, sunny for your weekend, low to mid 50s for Saturday and Sunday.
Firefighters are still keeping a close eye on what remains of a fire at a furniture store in Ramseur. They're watching hot spots after their crews responded to May Furniture on Reed Creek Road. That was around 5 o'clock this morning. The Randolph County Fire Department says a police officer saw the flames there and called 911. You can see they used a drone to find those possible hot spots. Fortunately, no one was hurt. No one was inside of that warehouse at the time of the fire. Firefighters hope to have the fire completely out by tonight, and they'll start their investigation into how it started in the morning. Now let's get you caught up of the news of the day with your 4 to 5 roundup. China is reporting 18,000 new cases of the coronavirus, but they say about 80% of those cases are mild. That means 72,000 people on the Chinese mainland have the coronavirus. To put that into perspective, that's the size of the city of Gastonia. But you have to remember, there are more than 1 billion people living in China. So in the end, the number of reported cases only equals to roughly 500 thousandths of a single percent. Democratic presidential candidate Mike Bloomberg qualified for the next debate, so it's the first time we'll actually see him on stage. He qualifies because the national poll placed him second, just behind Senator Bernie Sanders. The next debate is in Las Vegas, and it is tomorrow night. Today is the last day of early voting in Nevada before Saturday's caucus. All right, before I tell you what happened today in North Carolina history, we need a change of scenery. Oh yeah, at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, because today in 1891, UNCG was chartered. But the school is not as we know it now. It opened as the State Normal and Industrial School in 1892, and it was first established as a school for female teachers. The school became co-ed in 1963 and was then renamed the University of Greensboro. A new study lists Greensboro as the second most popular city for Japanese food in the entire nation. Google Trends says Honolulu is the #1 city. So the top 5 international foods in the nation are Chinese, Mexican, Italian, Thai, and Indian. Japanese food was #6. And not only is Greensboro the second most popular city, North Carolina is the second most popular state for Japanese food. I mean, it is good.
It's all good.
I will
Every bit
say,
of that.
there's this one restaurant off Tate Street, Don, that's a Japanese restaurant, and it's
Really?
really good. They will cook your food in a bowl. It finishes cooking like in that bowl in front of you. It's one of their
I love
specialties.
that.
Yeah, try it out.
Tate Street, right?
Tate Street, right by
There-
UNCG.
There's your
I'll eat
endorsement.
Sushi any day.
Yes, so good, so good. All right, we've got to talk about a hot topic in sports this morning. NASCAR driver Ryan Newman in serious condition after that crash at Daytona 500. Drivers were nearing the finish line last night, and Newman was leading the race. His car went airborne, was hit by another driver, then flipped over onto the roof, scraping across the track there. Newman has 18 Cup wins, by the way, including the 2008 Daytona 500. He has, ironically, advocated for better safety features after surviving multiple wrecks himself. There hasn't been a fatal crash in the sport since the death of Dale Earnhardt. Today actually marks 19 years since Dale Earnhardt died. The 7-time NASCAR champion was killed on the last lap of the 2001 Daytona 500.
I hate that the timing is so close.
I know. And
Yeah.
the last that I have seen of this, it said he's in serious condition, but with non-life-threatening injuries for Ryan Newman. So that's a good thing. I was covering Daytona when Dale Earnhardt crashed, but I had covered the twin 100s that were before that actual race. I was still in Daytona, and nobody thought by looking at that wreck that it would have been a fatal crash at all. But that's drivers. Some of the drivers back then didn't wear that Hans device that would restrain. So yeah, it was a sad day for NASCAR.
A lot of people making the connection between Earnhardt's crash and Newman's as well, but glad to hear that he is improving somewhat his
So
condition.
far.
Right, because when you look at that video, we aren't able to show you because of how we stream online, but it's really shocking to see.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Many kids dream of being a professional athlete. Sports like football or basketball may come to mind, but now esports are gaining traction. Yeah, we are talking video games. Kids are playing hours of video games online in hopes of turning pro, but esports carry their own set of health risks. So I spoke to a doctor about what you should know if your child has aspirations of becoming a professional e-gamer.
Fortnite, Call of Duty, and Madden.
See if I can find Greg Olson.
Just 3 of many video games now being played at the professional level.
I'd even say they're professional athletes at this point, e-athletes.
Dr. Derek Bernstein is a surgeon and hand specialist at Novant Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Center. He says the draw to esports is understandable.
Some of these players are making millions of dollars at this point.
And it can be something beneficial to a player.
First of all, there's a lot of coordination, planning, definitely a lot of engagement for these people. Also, there's a community, and so that's a very important aspect to it as well.
But he says there are also health risks to keep in mind.
We see more young people coming in. They play video games. They play it sometimes a lot. They're having all of a sudden thumb or wrist pain, and that definitely is a contributor.
Hand, wrist, neck, or back pain and eye fatigue are the most common injuries, all things that should be taken seriously.
And it may ultimately impact their ability to perform their job, or even to just feel things later on if it gets neglected.
Dr. Bernstein says e-athletes need to take a 360 holistic approach to taking care of themselves, much like athletes do in other sports, meaning eat right, taking appropriate breaks, and daily stretching.
Oftentimes, a lot of these players have to respond and move at very fast rates, and so you have to be all the way around at your top of your game.
With esports showing no signs of slowing down, Dr. Bernstein says it's best for parents to make sure their kids are gaming safely.
So I think the parents' role is to really embrace their child's strengths while at the same time finding a way to moderate it and essentially help their child to be as effective as an e-gamer as possible.
So gone are the days where you could just scoff off video games, because now I was reading that it could be like a $2 billion industry by year 2021.
What?
That's
Eric?
I'm not that good. My son, who loves Fortnite, my third oldest, lives and breathes for Fortnite, and he asked me the other day, he said, can I be a professional gamer? And I'm like, I don't know, can you?
Can you?
Because I don't know how good,
Right.
you know.
What are the odds of them going pro? I mean, if
don't
it's like
know.
an NFL athlete, that's like a very small chance.
Can't be that many, although there was a former worker here, I believe his girlfriend at the time, her son was a professional gamer and traveled all over the country, and it's a big deal.
And I mean, you have to practice 8 to 10 hours a day, much like you would if you were a musician or if you were training to be a professional basketball player in the summertime.
Yeah, true.
It's the same thing. The issue here is all that strain on your hand, which is why Dr. Bernstein was saying, you know, when you are feeling those pains, you really got to take them seriously, because it could lead to worse things down the line.
Right.
I know that Ninja, the best Fortnite player in the whole world, he says that he can't stop playing because he stops getting eyes watched, because people watch him play live on his Twitch account. And so when he's doing this, he's making money. So he says, if I take breaks, I start losing people watching and I lose money.
Time is money.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. All right, so listen up to this. Parents and school leaders have been putting bulletproof backpacks to the test for students, but the question is, do they work? We put leatherback gears equipment to the test.
Stay with us to learn more about that. Also, chat with us during the break. We are live streaming on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page and our YouTube channel. We want to see your comments. It's that one. Is that me?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello, check.
What's the deal?
I don't know. It's mine. It's mine.
It's like a loose.
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, it's because it's on. Well, it's one. It's upside down.
Well, I had to because
Check
the
your head.
help.
That's not it. So where is it?
It's on my.
Here?
It's on my strap.
Oh, awesome.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 1 minute.
Yeah, Jeff is tweaking with the cable.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2.
He said that sounds good.
It sounds fine.
You know, it's sad that we have to say this, but active shooter situations, we hear that a lot. They can occur just about anywhere. So when I heard about a company that makes a product, and it's called Leatherback Gear, and their two-sided bulletproof backpack, we had to check this out. The pamphlet says it can stop up to a .44 Magnum bullet. Here's what happened on our 2 test. So this is the backpack, pretty cool, made by the company Leatherback Gear is the name of it. Lots of nice little compartments and such, but the bulletproof aspect, that's what we're gonna check out today. They say that this converts within 5 seconds to a front and back armored vest, basically. So we're gonna give it a shot. Here we go and go. All right, not bad. And so now you've got this on the front and the back. But the question is it really bulletproof to the ratings and specifications that it claims? We're gonna test it out. So our buddy Kenny here with Calibers is gonna talk to us about this. You and I have had a conversation about what this backpack claims it can do. What 3 guns will we use to test this with?
We're going to be, first thing we're going to be using is a 9mm H&K, the H&K VP9. It's by far the most common caliber shot at Calibers. Then we'll be moving to a .44 Magnum,
Wow.
which is the highest rating of that bag. So it's not made to stop anything more than that. But
And then we'll test one above that?
we will. So we're going to be using an AR-15 to defeat that bag. So,
All right, we'll go. Here we go. If this is gonna work, yeah. All right, Kenny, so we look at this. What is what here?
that's the 9mm.
Okay, at the top here.
The .44 revolvers here.
Okay.
And then the AR-15 .223 round is right there.
That's the 9?
Mm-hmm.
And there's the .44.
Some of that pack is going to come and expand out, but a lot of it is going to go in the direction it came.
But it did what it said it would do, at least, right?
Actually did what it's designed for. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
there you go. So I wanted to show you this up close. This is the actual piece of, I guess I can call it Kevlar. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it is, but that's what they took out. So the top here, that is the 9mm. That's the .44 Magnum. And then in the top, that little hole that went through the back, that's the AR-15. So it actually did what it said it would do. It stops caliber up to a .44 Magnum. But the key here is that you notice all of that push out of this stuff, all of that shock, that complete impact, which is the Magnum, by the way. The 9 it did pretty well with. That a person's going to feel that. And this backpack, in my opinion, probably not for the little ones. It's more for a high school, college. But you will get injured from this, and it could be serious. But it does exactly what it said it would do.
It bothers me to look at that because I can't help but think of it on a kid.
Yep. Now
That's
it's there's a piece of this in the front and a piece in the back. So that AR-15 that we showed went through the front and the back and exited into the wall. So.
And I wish you guys could feel this because it doesn't look on first glance like it's strong.
When he pulled it out, I said, "That's it," and he goes, "Yeah, that's what it's made
Right.
of." But it just absorbs the shock, and it's amazing.
Yeah, children should not have to have that. Law enforcement is one
Exactly
thing, but I guess I'm glad it exists if it's going to keep kids safe and if this is the reality we live in.
It is. You just do what you can at this point. All right, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back.
All right, this is a consumer report you need to hear. It says the price of wine in the United States is going to go down in the next 5 years. And the reason why? There are too many grapes in California. Yeah, that report says there are too many grapes and not enough wine drinkers. The vineyards in California planted thousands of acres of vines back in 2016, and because of more efficient harvesting methods, they have a lot of grapes. So with that surplus, those prices are going to drop.
There you go. And speaking of wine, it is National Wine Day. We asked you on Facebook what your favorite wine was, and we'll check in with Jalen now, see what they're saying. They started chiming in, Jalen.
Oh man, they were loving this one, Eric. We got a lot of wine connoisseurs. Our first comment comes up. If we get that, it comes from Judy. She says her favorite type of wine is any Moscato, but my favorite is red wine. Her favorite red wine is Duplin's Black River Red. And then Becca, she says Riesling from Shelton Vineyards in Dobson, a local brand. Scott says Biltmore Merlot is the absolute best because of its bold, fruity flavors and its pleasantry dry, a great wine for any occasion.
Is Scott a sommelier?
I believe so. He
Yeah,
knows
right?
way more about wine than I do, I tell you that.
If they say notes of anything, you know, when they say notes of honey,
is it
then
oaky?
yes,
Is it
yes.
oak? Is it
Not my
aged in the
forte.
barrel?
I still want to do a tour of the Yadkin Valley
Yes.
wineries.
I haven't done that either. I would love to do that. Quick note, someone asked, I believe it was Carol on our Facebook feed, she said, how much did one of the backpacks cost? And they're not cheap, they're several $100s, but you're paying for safety is the way you have to look at it. All right, are we taking a break? We are. We'll take a short break, be right back. Let's look at the readings right now as you step out in case you're getting ready to head out for the day. 57 degrees in Greensboro up to 62 in Burlington and 56 in Winston-Salem, high point at 59, so comfortable temperatures. Tonight, overnight lows dropping down to the 40s, but we will stay between about 46 and 50 for possibly the next 24 hours or so. Showers will be likely as we head into the next little bit. You'll see some of that rain start to overspread the area. Northwest communities out in Allegheny, Ash-Watauga area getting some heavy showers now. More of this awaits us to the south and west. And we're going to take a look at our 7-day in just a minute because we have a chance of possibly snow on Thursday.
Well, no matter if it comes or not, everyone has an opinion on snow.
They absolutely do. I asked people on my Facebook page if they wanted snow and how much they wanted. So we'll check in now with a digital expert, Jalen Gilkey. Are more people excited for it or they don't want it? What's the consensus?
Oh, you got a
Hey,
real
Christian.
excited Maddie
Lurking.
with this one. Our first comment comes from Susan. She says, yes, yes, yes. Did I mention I wanted snow? Our next comment coming in from Robert. He says, yes, record setting where we can stay home. Robert, news for you. We won't all be staying home. Jesse, no, I am ready for spring. And Jesse, I'm with you on that. Snow is not my thing. I like to be warm. I need sunshine and a beach. So
Yeah, did you hear that spring-like music they played? Yeah.
That's a cue telling the snow, stay away. Yeah.
Right.
Some people want just one, though. Just one little snow. I could take a small, nothing big, no major snow.
Well, if it snows, I think more than 8 inches here, we're out for a week.
Right, exactly.
It seems.
That's the way
If
it
I
is.
could never see snow again ever in my life, I'd be just fine.
Here's the issue. I loved snow until I became a news reporter, and then you have to stand out in it for a really
different
long
world,
time, and I'm
that's right.
happy to do it because I love my job. However, it's really cold.
She's lying.
And you're on the side of the road, and there aren't bathrooms around. It's
true.
just a long day.
It's the whole thing.
It's very
But
true.
we do it to keep you at home safe.
Let us know
Absolutely.
what you think. Give
Think
us an
about us
answer.
when you comment.
We'll be back.
Now? You have me now? You should have me now. Hey, sorry about that. I got here earlier than I thought I needed to be. That's my fault. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
On the 7 days, so you can just
9, 10. Yeah, that's fine. Just end on the 7th day and I'll, yeah, because I've got my stuff loaded up.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together.
I like that. Mic check 1, 2, getting ready, coming up around 4:38. So we are good to go.
Good afternoon. Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Eric Chilton, joined by Maddie Gardner and Tahesha Moyes. If you could just hear us during the break.
Oh my goodness.
Try not to
So
laugh.
glad you're connecting with us. You can't hear us during the break, but you can,
you can
watch
see us.
us during the break if you are tuned into our Facebook stream there. We are also live on YouTube.
Yeah, so if you want us to see your comment, make sure you use that hashtag word 4, number 2, word 5, so that we can see it. In the meantime, let's get you all caught up with some headlines of the day with your 4 to 5 roundup. We're beginning with some developing news in South Carolina. Authorities have released the cause of death for Faye Swetlick. The medical examiner determined that she suffocated to death. Now, she died shortly after she was abducted. Authorities do not know where she was from her death until when she was found. but her body was found Thursday in a wooded area near her home. Authorities also found the body of Cody Taylor shortly after. Taylor was identified as a neighbor of the Swetlick family. The medical examiner determined he killed himself. Authorities say they found a polka dot rain boot in a trash can that led them to Faye's body. Back here in the Triad, the eastbound lanes of I-40 in Winston-Salem are now open. They opened around 2:15 this afternoon. A cattle truck flipped around 4 this morning near exit 195. The driver tells WFMY News 2 he swerved out of the way to hit a family of deer and then overcorrected. Now, crews are trying to clean up some of the cattle there and herd the living ones into a different truck. The driver was charged with failure to maintain lanes. The Boy Scouts of America filed bankruptcy over sex abuse lawsuits. Now, they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy in hopes of creating a victim compensation plan. Thousands of men are now seeking settlement over claims that they were molested by Scout leaders as children. Now, the men only have that option to sue because of the statute of limitations in laws in their states. Now, by filing a bankruptcy, the Scouts can hold off on sex abuse lawsuits, and they'd sell their properties to build funds for those lawsuits. The High Point Furniture Market says they are monitoring the coronavirus closely. They are looking at the CDC updates. Right now, no changes to safety or security have started yet for the upcoming market, but they have started conversations with local health professionals. If the concern grows, though, the market says they're prepared to screen visitors outside the building before they can come in.
Well, of course, we're all talking about snow and the possibility thereof. Let's start out with the short-term forecast, and you can see how the showers are starting to overspread the area. Allegheny, Ashwaubenon already seeing rain. Sparta getting some heavy rain right now. That'll be moving into Surrey County in the next 30 or 40 minutes or so. So kind of be advised that that is a possibility. There is a chance on Thursday. We'll look at our 7-day forecast here, and you're looking at basically 50 degrees for tomorrow, a 40% chance of morning showers. Then that next system will kind of skirt by on the coastal sections, and it's a 40-degree high with a 38-degree low and a 60% chance of something right now. We'll see. 42 and sunny on Friday, 50 and 54. Not a bad weekend, really. Saturday, Sunday, sunny to partly cloudy. A little rain Monday with a high of 55. We build temperature-wise from Saturday all the way through Tuesday, ending up at 57 with scattered clouds on your Tuesday.
All right, it's time for our email bag where we check the good, bad, and ugly, answering your questions and responding to some comments.
Yeah, we're not just talking about one specific comment or question today, but addressing a couple of them at one time.
Seems like we get them a lot, too. A lot of folks asking, saying that we've been in a snowless streak. When have we seen actual snow? How long has it been?
Yeah, so we brought in Christian Morgan to kind of debunk things for us. So what exactly determines a snowless streak?
Yeah, so there's a couple things that kind of go into it. First off, I don't know if we got this email bag and it said, it snowed a couple weeks ago. It snowed on January 31st. It did actually snow, but there is some science behind it. What we call, we're in this snowless streak, 435 days now of not having a sticking snow. And what that means, we had a couple days that we did see snow showers or snowfall, but really what that is just a trace. And so what happens is as snow falls and it hits the ground, it melts continuously. And you never quite get to 1/10 of an inch. So there's a trace of snow. That's the threshold. Okay. So once you get to 1/10 of an inch, that's when you can actually start measuring snowfall. So we're just waiting for that to happen. And right now we've got a pretty good shot at it on Thursday. So we'll see if we can break that streak or not.
I know a lot of people are like this, fingers crossed that we see something, then we can kill that streak.
Polarized.
Yeah. But you don't want to break a streak like that, 435 days with just, 1/10 of an inch. You want it to be something substantial. If we're going to break it.
I'm just worried about that break being huge. That's what I'm worried about, because we've been known to get some decent March snows.
We have.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right.
Goodness gracious. All right, we want to tell you about a warning now, because have you ever just seen one of these public charging stations, right, that you need to plug your phone into to get some juice? You just go like that and you think, oh, it's safe because it's out in the public and it's fine to use. Well, Greensboro police say this, just plugging your phone into a random charge station, it actually makes you pretty vulnerable. So when this screen pops up and asks if you want to trust a device or allow access, you want to unplug your phone immediately. This is called juice jacking, and when you see that prompt and it gives you the click OK, it gives you access to your device, so then your data is susceptible. Now, to prevent that you can get a USB data blocker for protection. If you don't have one of those data blockers, you'll want to only use a USB cord that you plug into the wall that is power only.
Here's my question for you. When is the last time you cleaned your oven?
I don't clean my oven. I'm so sorry. I don't clean my oven.
I never got to that part of the instructions.
I love that I never got to that part of the instructions. I know a lot of people are squeamish about using their self-cleaning oven. There's sometimes a really funny smell. Maybe it's weird to think I'm locking my oven and maybe it's going to combust with all that heat.
I still don't understand how it all works.
We've used that feature, but it does smell weird. I'll give you that.
Right, it stinks up the house for
Yes.
sure. Okay, people always ask how often should you do it, and I say as soon as you start seeing the smoke coming out of your oven when you're baking things, because that's what happens to me. Okay, so good times there. All right, so we want to let you know about this tonight at 5 o'clock. The tricks to making the self-cleaning oven experience not so scary, including making sure that you take all the stuff at the bottom drawer. A lot of people forget to do that, and then they warp all the things that are in the bottom of the drawer. Okay, on to one of the biggest complaints that we get at 2 Wants to Know. Are we ready for this? The robocall. We hate them. Yeah,
Can't
right?
say
Yeah, I actually
we
have
all
to
get them.
cancel one in the middle
Just
of the
now.
show.
Okay, we spend a lot of time talking about how to stop them, right? But there are certain businesses and entities that are allowed to robocall you. Should anyone be allowed to robocall you?
I don't think so.
I don't like it.
I don't want them to.
Yeah,
You don't want them to. Okay, so here's the thing, right? A handful of exceptions are out there, including political organizations, telephone surveyors, companies that you do business with. That's everything from your bank to your pharmacy. They can text you as well. Well, those rules are not the same as calls. We're going to take a look coming up at 6 o'clock.
All right, it is time to talk about somewhat of a touchy topic here on the 4 to 5, really across the state of North Carolina. I'm so sorry to do this to you, Eric. The Tar Heels lost again. They faced Notre Dame last night, and they led by as many as 15 points, but they blew the lead and lost to the Irish on a last-second three-pointer. And now they have lost the last 3 of 4 games on last-second shots. The Hills, they have a 6-in-a-row losing streak there. Luke Liddon, what's going on? Can you fix them?
I'm always the bearer of bad news.
Go to Chapel Hill.
I just think, honestly, it's one of those years, sometimes things don't always go your way for a team. I mean, you think about the Patriots, perfect example. They've been such a dominant team over the years. I know that's football, but I think the Heels can be kind of in a similar category and definitely doesn't define this program. I just think it's one of those down years. And here, I have a stat here for you. It marks the longest losing streak of the Roy Williams era. The last time they've lost 6 in a row was back in 2001.
Kind of sounds like it's defining them. A
This
little
year.
bit.
No, it
this
is
year.
this
This
year. You're
year.
right.
But as a whole, I'm like,
Right.
it's,
No.
you gotta.
It's 1 year.
Yeah,
right.
1 year.
But if you look at their faces after that, because it's demoralizing when you see these last second losses are tough for any team. You get about 6 of those in a season, and it messes with their heads. I looked at Cole Anthony last night. He looked helpless and defeated, and they all just have blank expressions on it. And Roy Williams let out a little bit of a curse word in the post, which he never does. Never.
I was kind of shocked when he did that. And it's interesting because there have been a lot of close games they just can't finish. And just a couple nights ago, they lost to Virginia on a buzzer beater, a three-pointer, same thing, and then they lose again on a buzzer beater to Notre Dame. They're actually 3-5 in games where the Heels have led by 10 or more in the second half. So they just haven't been able to finish. I know there are a lot of different factors, health, and I don't think they can really find their identity. But
Roy was upset, man.
He was. So I guess we have to look for another team. But I think they'll be fine next year. I'm just kidding. I think they'll be fine next year. It's just one of those tough years, especially as a North Carolina fan.
I just want to see what the strategy is going to be for the next couple games, because clearly something is not working, especially towards the end. Is it fatigue from the players? Is it they're playing man-to-man when they should be playing something else? I don't know.
Closing out a game and hitting free throws. I mean, they got to hit free throws. And they play, 5th-ranked Louisville, or they 5th? They play at Louisville Saturday.
And I mean, perfect
They'll
example.
win that one,
Right,
just because
that
it's
may be-
weird.
Yeah, exactly. And they would have beaten Duke if they just made one extra free throw.
Yes.
They missed, I don't know the exact stat, but at least 15
It was
plus
50%
free throws.
of their free
Yeah,
throws.
so it was tough. And really quickly, Williams said you have 2 choices: compete your butt off or get in the fetal position and start crying. Don't think he'll do that, so we'll see what happens.
I'm about to, number 2.
Don't cry. Don't cry here. All right, we're coming back. Stay there.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. Plymouth police are looking for the person who vandalized Plymouth Rock. Now, Plymouth Rock is a Pilgrim Maiden statue in Massachusetts where the Pilgrims landed when they came to America. Officials say there doesn't seem to be a political connection to the graffiti, but the vandalism happened yesterday, which marked the 400th anniversary of the Pilgrims landing there.
We're pretty devastated, more so at the devastation to the historical landmarks in Plymouth. It's pretty heart-wrenching.
So 1620, that's the big thing on the rock. And when you go there on your school field trips, because I have been there more times than I can count because I went to school near Plymouth, you just look down at this rock and it's literally just a rock. It's less than the size of this table. Maybe the circular part on the table just says 1620. And it's a big deal.
You're like,
it's a big deal. And it's crazy. It's crazy.
And it's literally the rock.
It's literally
right?
a rock, but it has significant meaning. And I was looking at the graffiti, 508, that's actually an area code in Massachusetts where I grew up. So I'm like, is there people from my hometown vandalizing Plymouth?
Tahisha on the case.
They need to stop.
Detecting.
They need to stop.
But
I would recommend, if you are up in the Plymouth area, you can go to see the Plymouth Rock, Plymouth Plantation. They have some of the areas that were there when the Pilgrims settled, so you can kind of see how they lived.
I would love to
kind of
see
like
that.
Old Salem in Winston-Salem, a very similar thing.
It's very
I
cool.
love that they still have that landmark though, because a lot of times you hear history and it seems like fairy tale stories, but then you see actual evidence and you're like, oh my gosh, that happened.
Yeah, you go to Plymouth and then you go to Ocean Spray with the cranberry.
I was like,
that's usually the field trip.
That's very
cranberry
nice.
juice cocktail.
I know what to do now.
Because it's all up in the same area. All right, we want to tell you about another piece of history that is causing some upset. One United Bank created a limited edition Harriet Tubman Visa debit card. Now, as you can see here, Tubman has the Wakanda symbol crossing her arms there, and it's meant to be a symbol of empowerment. Now, some internet users aren't happy about it. The reason for the unhappiness is they're saying it's kind of a sign of disrespect. She should be seen in a better light instead of bringing a fictional superhero
But she's not actually doing the Black Panther Wakanda symbol, right? Like that wasn't intentional, was it? It just looks like that.
It was.
Oh, it
was for the bank company. That's what they wanted to do. And so some people are seeing that as a sign of disrespect, but others are like, well, Wakanda was this great place and, you know, showed off African Americans in a great way. And so Harriet Tubman is like a symbol, a hero to them, kind of like the heroes in Wakanda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's really neat that she's on a credit card, though.
I mean, that's probably the key. I think I understand a little bit of where they're coming from because she's such an important figure in history, and to add pop culture to it, sometimes I can see how they might think
like lessens the impact of that.
She's on the card. That's all that matters right now. All right, we'll take a break. Be back. Oh, sorry, we're not leaving. We're going to do health headlines. Sorry, I thought we were out the door. You know me, always thinking about dinner. You might take over-the-counter supplements for your workout routine, but did you know the FDA does not regulate that industry? One Charlotte doctor treats patients who actually have liver problems, all because of supplements. Take a look.
So I take 12 supplements every day.
It is a booming business.
I take different supplements for different things.
A $50 billion business.
My main thing is for energy.
The most common dietary supplements sold are for weight loss. In fact, many of the patients Atrium Health's Dr. Mark Russo sees are women who end up in his office after taking these pills.
Fairly frequently because supplements are so readily available.
Russo treats patients with liver problems. He says there's a direct link between diet supplements and liver failure.
There is, and it's usually not one person that developed the problem. You know, for example, in many of these cases, it's 50 to 100 patients become throughout the country or even maybe throughout the world with a problem, and the only identifiable factor is that specific supplement.
According to the FDA, the number of cases goes up every year.
People look for shortcuts, and sometimes those shortcuts can cost them a serious problem or even their lives.
But the FDA doesn't regulate supplements. It's up to the companies that make and distribute them to make sure their own products are safe.
Patients call me and ask, can I take this supplement, Supplement X? My answer is take at your own risk.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is my microphone on? All right, I'm here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You know, more and more people these days are opting to move from the suburbs into the downtown areas, even in mid-sized cities. And I went to Lexington to show you some of the coolest uptown lofts you've ever seen. Take a look. This was a project, labor of love for you guys.
Yes, it was. We bought the building, had to go completely through the building and redone the floors, each level, and as you can see, it's really turned out really nice.
I mean, you had to strip everything down. So retail downstairs, but upstairs you have these lofts, and that's different for Lexington. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Right. Uptown, we've got 3 units up here. The first 2 are rented. This back unit here is for an Airbnb.
This is just a 1-bedroom unit, right?
Yes.
And what's the hope with Lexington in this? Because this is, as we said, it is unusual to see this in a smaller city. The downtown living is kind of becoming a thing now.
Right. We didn't spend a lot of time in town in my youth, but as done this project, and we come uptown, me and my wife come uptown a lot now. So it's become more interesting for the newer generation.
The future of this, you hope that this kind of spreads across uptown Lexington, I guess.
Yes, there's a lot of activity going in Lexington now, and so this is just one more stage into that process, I believe. Me and my cousin Adam are doing another project on 2nd Avenue that's a 12-unit complex. Would be really nice with the overlook of the amphitheater.
Perfect, that's perfect. Then now you know if you want to come down, well, Barbecue Festival, good luck in trying to get this thing then, but you want to come down and check it out. Yes, he says the prices might vary during Barbecue Festival. There's only one that's open, which is the one that they saved for an Airbnb. But as he mentioned, across the street, they're getting ready to do another one with 12 apartments and a rooftop kind of bar hangout area. It's really cool. Lexington's making some big changes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've covered the development in Uptown Lexington for a number of years. It seems like every month they have something new going on.
Yeah, and for the next 2 days, I'm going to be featuring a different aspect of Lexington. We got a new restaurant that we're featuring in one, and then really fun pieces coming up for the next couple days.
Glad to see the growth.
Yeah. He got back from Lexington yesterday after shooting all this, and I was like, you honestly smell like hush puppies. And he was like, I didn't have hush puppies, but you smell like hush puppies.
They have a place that's kind of like a Chipotle or a Moe's, but it's locally owned. It's killer good. Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Of course, I have to get some food in. Let's get a forecast for you, shall we? Here's what we see out there for the next several days, and of course, all eyes on Thursday at this point. But we're looking at 50 degrees for tomorrow. Now, temperatures aren't going to change all that much. Our low tonight, 46, the high tomorrow, 50. 40% chance of rain. That'll start any time now and go overnight into tomorrow morning. Thursday, we're watching. There is a chance of snow. It all depends on the track of the low. A lot of it south and east of us for now, but that could change. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's sunny to partly cloudy. 42 Friday, warming to the low to mid 50s for your weekend. A little rain on Monday.
Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5, a teenager is charged with murder, allegedly killing a 20-year-old in Greensboro last weekend, plus another teenager charged for a separate shooting. We're digging deeper into the crimes next on WFMY News 2 at 5.